lesson with me, Manil, here on Unacademy. As always, we are learning how to prep better for your IELTS test. So today's class is being conducted here on YouTube, right? This is the first one that I'm doing on YouTube here today. And we will be Manil here on Unacademy, as always. We will be continuing from where we left yesterday on the special class, which was paraphrasing, right? So I, by mistake, yesterday said that we were to do vocabulary and idioms today, but that's not really the case. Today we will be doing a lot of paraphrasing practice, right? So I've set up 6 sentences for all of us to practice as much paraphrasing as possible. And yes, I will be accepting all your questions. I'll try my level best to ensure that through this session you get better at paraphrasing. You are more than welcome to put in all your questions in the chat. I'll be able to answer those, right? So I'm keeping an eye on that as well. Now, if you're watching this as a published video, of course, that would probably be very difficult. But this is, if you're watching this live with me right away, I will definitely be answering all your questions, right? So hello to anyone who's already joined. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We will give it a few minutes for people to join in, right? And then we will get the lesson started. For those of you watching this as a published video, please do push forward by a few minutes so that you don't have to watch me waiting for others to join. Probably 5 minutes forward should be good. Thereafter, we would be, even if there are few people, very few people who've joined, we would be in any case practicing. Alright, let's get this lesson going. Now, what I'm going to do is, for those of you probably not attended the previous lesson, I just put up a little lesson for you. I'll just revise what we did yesterday, which is what is paraphrasing and how to paraphrase. Okay, I'll do this quickly in about 5-7 minutes, and then we can go on and start practicing a few paraphrase sentences. Now, what is paraphrasing? That is the first question. So the answer is, paraphrasing is nothing but restating what another person said in your own words. But while doing so, there are two things that you always need to keep in your mind, and the first thing is that the meaning should not change, nor should the information. Alright, when I say information, I also mean should not change. I also mean that you cannot add or subtract. Alright, it's not just that, oh, okay, you probably ended up making a small mistake. You also can't leave out any important information. You also can't unnecessarily bring any new information. If you do any of these things, which is you change the meaning, or you change the information, or you add or subtract information, what you're doing is not paraphrasing. You are stating something different altogether. It's a new sentence or a statement altogether, right? So how do you go about paraphrasing? So there are 5 ways to paraphrase. Alright, five strategies that you can follow. The very first one is to use synonyms. Synonyms, we all know what synonyms are. Synonyms are nothing but words which are alike or have similar meanings. So in a sentence where you probably do not know anything else, the best you can do is think of synonyms for some of the words. Again, some of the words, not all the words. That is the big mistake everyone makes. Find synonyms for some of the words and put them in, and that's it. You have paraphrased successfully. Second one is to change word order, right? See if some of the words can move around in the sentence, right? This is something which is easy for people who know their grammar, right, or people who know their English well and have been practicing regularly. Now, if you're somebody who does not know your grammar well or do not practice your English regularly, I recommend that you take the grammar course. I offer that course on Unacademy Plus, right, where I teach everything in detail. So that would help you understand how to look at each word individually, understand how to use it in a sentence, and not until you know how to form a sentence properly can you probably speak in English effectively. And at the end of the day, IELTS is nothing but your ability to communicate using English. It's a test that checks your ability to communicate using English as a language, alright? So change word order. So see if there are a few words that you could move around within that sentence structure, alright? Third being change word form. Now this is again something that is good to do if you know your grammar well, right? So there are a lot of words that can act as nouns, nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, so on and so forth. And if you know how to change their forms across all these parts of speech, you could do so. Of course, that would also mean playing around with a few other words as well, probably changing a few prepositions here and there, maybe getting rid of a few pronouns or adding those, and so on and so forth. So if you could do so, that too would help you paraphrase wonderfully, and in fact that could really help you up your overall score for lexical resource. Lexical resource includes vocabulary, paraphrasing, collocations, idioms, and so on and so forth, right? Not so on and so forth. Those are the 4 things that are covered under lexical resource primarily. So if you understand all of this, you can really score high on lexical resource for your task 2, task 1, as well as for your speaking. Okay, so change word form. For example, you take the verb run, you somehow change it to running in the sentence, while of course ensuring that the grammar is correct, and at the same time it is also making the same sense, and the meaning is the same, right? or you take running and you change it to run, or for example you take the word intellect and you somehow change it to, well, maybe not intellectual, that wouldn't be that very difficult, but say something like something such as changing conclusion to conclude, alright, so on and so forth. So these are the kinds of words, these are kinds of changes that you could make while paraphrasing. Fourth is to change voice, right? That's pretty simple. You change from active to passive, or you change from passive to active, so vice versa, right? So active to passive, passive to active. Now this is another thing where I say that if you do not know your grammar well, you do not know your voices, please don't jump into this. First learn your grammar. See guys, look, at the end of the day, it is very important that you know your grammar and your language overall, right, which includes your grammar and your vocabulary. Otherwise you're only shooting in the dark, okay, which will not help you get anywhere, right? So come attend the grammar course, learn your language, and then attempt your IELTS test. Otherwise you'll only end up spending 13,500 rupees, and the end result will be you'll have to take a second attempt or a third attempt or a fourth attempt or maybe a fifth attempt, and eventually you'll only end up giving up on your dream. So instead, prep properly. Alright. Fifth one, add words. Now what happens is there are certain sentences where you can look at the sentence and logically come to a conclusion that these words can be added to the sentence without changing any meaning. In fact, probably the original sentence has just skipped on these words, right? Because it's not necessary that those words actually be stated for the complete picture to be painted, right? So what they do is, fair enough, let's say for example, parents are the best teachers. That's it, end of the story. We can easily add for children. Why? Because parents are the best teachers for children. That makes sense, that is logical, right? So we could also add this strategy. For children, teachers, parents are the best teachers, right? Now of course, adding words would also need that you pick up at least one of the other strategies as well to form your paraphrase. Because what happens is when you're paraphrasing while writing your task 1 or task 2, and if you write the original sentence as is, the examiner will not count it towards your word count. They will count it if and only if it is a paraphrase. Alright. Now paraphrasing is definitely one way to let the examiner know that you have good command on your language. Right. But when do you truly have good command on your language? When you know your language, right? You could, of course, as I said, you could shoot in the dark and probably none of it would make sense. Or you learn your language and then you perform well on the test. Okay. So by the way, to tell you a little more about the Unacademy Plus platform, I'm assuming that you haven't really used the platform. Unacademy Plus is a platform where, just like this, we conduct live streams, right? And students get to learn live. You ask me your questions while the lesson is on. I clear your doubts, and I help you prepare for the test. So listening, reading, writing, speaking, all 4 sections are covered. And you can chat with me, right? You can also click photographs of your writing task 2 and writing task 1 answers and send them across. I'll review those for you live in the class. So give you a proper feedback on how well you're doing, right? I have 2 courses on Unacademy Plus. So one is for IELTS and the other is for grammar. So one is where you actually understand how to answer the questions, right? How to go about tackling each question on the test. While grammar is for the people who have difficulties with their language, people who are weak at English, right? So people can benefit from both courses, and it's not as if that you have to subscribe and pay for each course separately. No, that's not how it works. You subscribe to Unacademy Plus and then you can attend all my lessons, all my courses that are offered on Unacademy Plus. At the same time, you can also attend courses that are being offered by other educators, alright? But if you subscribe for IELTS, you will be able to attend lessons only for IELTS. You can't then attend lessons for some other entrance test, okay? That cannot be done. But nonetheless, you can still access, you can still attend classes with a lot of people. Now, it's probably the most affordable platforms to prepare for the IELTS test. For 1 month, the fee is 2,700 rupees. And on top of that, while you subscribe, if you use the code IELTS by Manil, right, you get an additional 10% discount, right? So that makes it even cheaper. So you use the code IELTS, IELTS by Manil, BYMANIL, IELTS by Manil. You get a 10% discount. So your fees for a month is now 2,430 rupees. That's it. I think that's more affordable than any other course at any academy anywhere in the country. All right. And I definitely give you a lot of attention. All right. And I give very honest feedback. So if you're not doing well, I'll tell you you're not doing well. Because there are a lot of students who think they know English, but they don't know English, right? And it is important that you know where exactly do you stand. Because if you stand at band 6 and you need to score band 7, you need to know where you stand so that you can prepare for a band 7 score, right? And that is something that I make sure I always tell you. Uh, if you want, you can subscribe for 3 months. So if you're somebody who has difficulties with the language, whose English is weak, subscribe for 3 months. I think it costs around 2,200 a month, so 6,600 I think for 3 months. But then again, you get a 10% discount when you use IELTS by Manil. All right, so I think that drops to about 5,900 or something rupees, right? So again, for 3 months, very affordable, right? Very affordable. And then there are subscriptions for 6 months as well, and then there are subscriptions for 1 year as well. All right. So guys, and again, I know there are a lot of people who are trying to pinch pennies. Pinch pennies means to save money, right? Because probably you have a big expense coming up, right? You have to go abroad. But at the same time, if you won't score on your IELTS test, there is no abroad. Okay. There is no good university. You probably can't immigrate to Canada, or you can't immigrate to Australia or New Zealand, or you can't get that job. If you don't score well on your IELTS test, the embassy will not approve your visa to go actually join the job. So that's another problem, right? And then to top it off, no good university will take you in if your IELTS scores are low. So it's better that you come prepare. It's always easy once you've made it to whichever country you're going to. Assuming you're going to Canada, right? And let's say you sign up for 3 months. That's $100. It doesn't take a lot to earn back those $100 once you've actually made it to Canada, right? I know a lot of people who have taken 7, 8, 10, 15 attempts, not scored their desired band score, just because they were trying to pinch pennies and not pay a tutor. Does not make sense, right? So don't do so, please. Do not do so. Come join the course and start learning at the earliest. Now, so coming back to paraphrasing, so we've already looked at what is paraphrasing. Now we've also looked at 5 strategies that you can follow while paraphrasing. Now let's do one thing. Let's actually practice paraphrasing. All right, I have 6 sentences, like I said, set up for you to practice paraphrasing. And here's the first one on the screen. Right, what I want you to do is try for yourself. Right, that's one single sentence. That's one large statement split across 2 sentences. But this is a task 2. This is a recent task 2 question. Okay, from an actual IELTS test. So consider this as also an insight into what questions would look like on task 2. This is of course not the whole question. This is only the question statement. So try paraphrasing this. What I'll do is, before I give you my answers, I'll give you about 2 minutes, give it a shot, and then we'll move on. let's look at a paraphrase here, right? So I'll put up one paraphrase and then I'll explain exactly what I have done while making this paraphrase, all right? So the paraphrase here is, a few people believe that companies sponsoring sports to promote themselves my apologies for that to promote themselves can is beneficial, not can, sorry. While and another section and sorry, a few people and others, not and would be bad, right? Because we are looking at while, right? So there's some sort, there has to be some sort of a contradiction. A few people believe that companies sponsoring sports to promote themselves is beneficial, but others feel that doing so carries some negative influences, right? Actually, what I'll tell you what, I'm going to get rid of this. I think I'm overcooking this. I'm simply going to keep disadvantages. All right, that's all I'm going to do. Why? I think the mistake I was making was the same as a lot of students do. They try to use synonyms for everything, and at the end of the day, you end up using synonyms that end up changing the meaning, even if by just a little bit, but it does end up changing the meaning. And while you might be thinking that the meaning is just moved about a little, in reality, when the examiner reads it, the meaning may have actually wavered quite a bit off course, alright? So let's look at the paraphrase again. What have I made? A few people believe that companies sponsoring sports to promote themselves is beneficial, but others feel that doing so carries some disadvantages. Now, what I did was, this part of the sentence, I simply picked it up and I brought it here, right? So I have changed word order. Clear? That's one. Second, synonyms, very obvious. Some gets replaced by a few. Some people think gets replaced by believe. This is a good thing. Look, we don't need this is any longer, okay? This is a part that is no longer required in our paraphrase. Of the rearrangement of the words, that companies, it's not always necessary that every word has to come back, but so I've gotten rid of many altogether. Companies sponsoring sports. Now, companies sponsor sports, right? So sponsor here is in the verb form, while here it's become a gerund, ing. So here it's in the root form, here it's in the gerund form. Sports, to promote, as that companies sponsoring sports to promote as a way of advertising, to promote themselves. So it's not necessary that one word has to get replaced by another word. A group of words could get replaced by another group of words. That too is something that you can do while simply using synonyms to make a paraphrase. Okay, so that's what has happened here. As a way of advertising, got replaced by to promote themselves, right? To promote, as a way of advertising, to promote, and then themselves is still themselves, is beneficial. A good thing is beneficial, alright? So is still stays, my bad, is does not go, and a good thing becomes beneficial. But, so while gets replaced by but, others think gets replaced by feel, that doing so carries some, so it has disadvantages, got replaced by that Doing so, which is what companies sponsoring sports, doing so carries some disadvantages. Done. So what are the strategies that we have applied? So we've used synonyms, right? We've used change of word order, right? We have used change of word form, alright? And then I haven't really subtracted too much that I should write. Oh, I have also reduced words, okay? So that's really not a thing here. But these are the three primary strategies that have helped us to get to our paraphrase. So I truly hope you've been able to understand everything that I've been speaking about until now. So once again, let's look at our paraphrase, alright? This being the first one, then we'll move on to the next one. A few people believe that companies sponsoring sports to promote themselves is beneficial, but others feel that doing so carries some disadvantages. So this part here got picked up from the beginning of the sentence and sort of got placed in the middle of the sentence. So change of word order, some gets replaced by a few, and then of course there are so many more synonyms that have been used across the sentence. Then the word sponsor, which is a verb in its root form over here, gets changed to sponsoring, a verb in its gerund form. Now, guys, you just can't go about changing verb forms as and when you like, right, or wherever you like. There's a certain way to doing so. Like I said, you can learn that on the grammar course and IELTS by Manil to get 10% discount when you subscribe for that course, right? So, companies sponsoring sports to promote themselves, and then finally, uh, the last thing, while using synonyms as a strategy, it's not necessary that you replace a word with a word. You can replace a group of words with another group of words. So I hope this has been understood. Now let's move on to the next paraphrase. I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to give you a good 5 minutes to think this through and then put down your paraphrase and then we'll move forward. All right, let's look at the paraphrase for this particular sentence. I hope you've been able to form this paraphrase if you are indeed watching this as a published video, which I'm sure you are. I hope you have put it up on a piece of paper. Compare yours with mine and see exactly what you got. Now, there's one thing before I get into the paraphrase. I'm very sure that half the people watching this video would have made a paraphrase which they think is brilliant because it has complex vocabulary, rich vocabulary, advanced vocabulary. And to those half of you uh, who've actually ended up making a mess of their paraphrase, I would say look toned down. Okay, you don't have to go bonkers, you don't have to go crazy with your vocabulary, right? For a band 7 or a band 7.5, 6.5, either side, your everyday vocabulary is way more than what you need, right? For a band 8, you probably need to know a little bit of vocabulary, which is probably what you call complex or rich. But there too, you really need to know what that word means, when to use it, how to use it. Does it really fit into the context uh, of where you stand or the communication that you're having? If not, if you'll end up using it, the examiner will immediately catch hold of the fact that you really do not know what this word means, and the net outcome will be you end up losing your band score. All right, so we don't want that to happen. Now, let's paraphrase the sentence. Some people believe that to be successful at a sport, you need natural ability, and others think that hard work and practice can make you successful. Right? So, let's see. A section of the society believes that natural ability is uh, necessary to succeed at sports, while others uh, believe, again we can go with believe or feel, that you can find success, that you can be replaced by one through sustained hard work and practice. Right? So let's once again look at the paraphrase that I've made here. A section of the society believes that natural ability is necessary to succeed at sports, while others feel that one can find success through sustained hard work and practice. All right. What have I done here? Well, once again, very simple, very straightforward. It's a combination of synonyms, of course, right? That goes without saying. I think everyone's already noted that. And then we have change in word order. And finally, we have change in word form. I'm not getting in. Okay, let's look at everything. All right. So natural ability here has been picked up sort of at the end of this first part of the sentence, and it has been brought to the middle of that part of the sentence, right? So again, succeed, successful sort of becomes succeed. So that is a change in word order, and it also goes to the end of the first part of the sentence, right? So that is how I have changed the order, and at the same time I've also changed the word form for the word successful. All right. Even believe, see believe here, it's believe here and it's believes here, because to make sure that our grammar is correct, we had to change the the form of the verb, we had to ensure that subject verb agreement was in place. Again, something that you learn in the grammar lesson. Uh, so that's that, right? Same thing has been done for the second part as well. I have changed successful from the end of the sentence to the start of the sentence, sort of to the middle of the sentence, sorry, and then successful becomes success, and hard work gets replaced by so so sustained is a word that I have sort of added to the picture. It doesn't really, it doesn't change the meaning in any which way, although it does add a little piece of information which may not necessarily be absolutely accurate, but yes, it's within the range that we can play in. Okay, we can play within this range. It's not an issue. So through sustained hard work and practice. So what have we done? We've used synonyms, change in word order, and change in word form. We've also added a word. Now this one's more. This one adds a little more value to the sentence. So I'm also going to put that down as one of the strategies that we have followed. Right. So this is how we can go about forming a paraphrase for this particular sentence. So let's repeat it. Hi to the person. Hello to the person who's just joined. And if you're following what I'm saying, excellent. If you have any doubts, any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will respond to those, all right? So, some people believe that to be successful at a sport, you need natural ability, and others think that that hard work and practice can make you successful. The paraphrase I came up with is a section of the society believes that natural ability is necessary to succeed at sports, while others feel that one can find success through sustained hard work and practice. Now, to the person who's watching, I'd really appreciate if you could write a quick hi and let me know who you are, your name, please. All right. So, moving on to the next sentence. Here's a sentence for you. Once again, as always, you'll have a little bit of time to think of your paraphrase, write it down. I'm going to give you 5 minutes or so. Probably not all the way through to 5 minutes, more like 3 to 4 minutes. This one's a longer sentence. Think it through, make your paraphrase, and then we'll start discussing it. All right, let's paraphrase the sentence. All right, so this one's a long one. Now, look at my paraphrase. This could be a little difficult to sort of stay along in terms of strategy because so many words have to be paraphrased. I mean, a very long sentence has to be paraphrased, but try and get the essence of what is going on. Okay, so these days, adults do not engage in physical activities, and one idea mooted to counter this problem is to cover uh, big sporting events such as the Olympics on television, um, but uh, but there is also a counter view that better options can be practiced to reach the desired, to achieve, sorry, not reach, to achieve the desired result. So let me restate the paraphrase that I've written. Let me read it out aloud once more. These days, adults do not engage in physical activities, and one idea mooted to counter this problem is to cover big sporting events such as the Olympics on television. But there is also a counter view that better options can be practiced to achieve the desired result. So what have we done? Now, first of all, clearly, of course, there are synonyms, right? And then there is also change of word form. But if you look at it, there is no change. Yes, there is also change in word order. All right. So these are the three strategies. Once again, I have not yet used change of voice, right? Because all the sentences that we've been dealing with till now, change of voice may probably not be the best option, right? So these days, adults do not engage in physical activities, and one idea mooted. So these days, nowadays, these days, adults do little exercise. Adults do not engage in physical activities. So a group of words replaced by another group of words. And one idea mooted. Now look at what I have done here. Some people believe, right, this part here. I have picked up this group of words and I've replaced it with one idea mooted. Why? Why have I done so? See, some people believe and one idea mooted in this context mean the same, almost the same. Why? Because some people believe, who would moot an idea? People. So I did not write the words some people have mooted an idea. Instead, I just wrote one idea mooted because grammatically these two are acting similarly to help us convey the same meaning. So, and in physical, and one idea mooted to counter this problem, address this issue, counter this problem is by covering great sports, is to cover big sporting events such as, so again here I've primarily just changed word form, such as the Olympics. I haven't even changed anything over there because it is not necessary. I know there are people who are obsessed, like I say time and again, to replace every word with another word, but where not necessary, please don't. Okay. But there is also a counter view that, but others think there is also a counter view. Why others? A counter view would be held by others in any case, right? But there is also a counter view that better options, that there is, it is more beneficial to take other measures, right? Better options, other measures, better options, because beneficial word is there. So I have said better options, that better options can be practiced to achieve the desired result, right? Now here I've also added words. Okay, so these are the four strategies that I have used in this particular paraphrase to come to our in this particular for this particular sentence to come to our paraphrase, right? So change in word order and added words have been used for the last part of the sentence, and then also at the same time change in word form and synonyms have been used pretty much across the sentence, but mostly in the first and the second part of the sentence. Now there's one more thing I want you to notice here. Within the original sentence, we had within the original statement, we had three different sentences. But if you look at my paraphrase, it is one single sentence. What I formed here is what is called a, a compound sentence, right? But here what I've done is I've compounded three sentences twice over to form one larger sentence. Now, this is something, if you really know how to do well, can help you score very high on the IELTS test, right? Because the ability to link your ideas and show that correlation does count for a lot on the IELTS test, okay? It counts for 25% of your marks, of your overall band score. So if you really want to learn this, once again, I recommend, why don't you come over to the Unacademy Plus platform, learn with me, learn all of this, and then make sure that you score your desired band score in one attempt, all right? And not that you keep paying the fees over and over again. Once again, like I said, a month's fees is 2,700 rupees, and then you get a 10% discount if you use the code IELTS by Manil. So that brings it down to 2,430 rupees. Now within that 1 month, I will complete the IELTS course as well as the grammar course. So let's do one thing. Let's practice this one last sentence before I bring this session to an end, right? A short sentence, but a very interesting sentence. Let's see, what can you make of it? I'm going to give you 2 minutes and then I'll share my own paraphrase and then we'll discuss it. All right, let's come to the paraphrase. Now, this one's a simple and very straightforward case of changing voice, right? But once again, do this only if you know how to, otherwise, apply other strategies. Entertainers hold more importance is a belief held by a section of the society. Sorry, than scientists is a belief held by a section of the society. All right. So what are my strategies here? Change of voice, very obvious, right? Then what else? The next one is I have changed word form. Now, when you change voice, in any case, you change word form, but I have changed it a little further. I'll come to that, right? Change in word order. I'm not really going to put that down, I think, because the change in word order is in any case because of change of voice. So I will not put it down separately. And then finally, synonyms. And I have added a word. I have added a few words because of this change in word form that I made. Okay. Now, if I were to simply change the voice of the sentence, the new paraphrase would have been: entertainers are more important than scientists is believed by some people. End of story. All right. Entertainers are more important than scientists is believed by some people. But our paraphrase is not like that, right? So what I've done is, one, I've done entertainers hold more importance than scientists. So important became importance. So change in word form here. That is the first one. And because I change this word form here, I also, what I did was I took the liberty of replacing the verb are with the verb hold. Why? Because in this case, both of them, so they're acting as synonyms, right? In this case, they're acting as synonyms. But that is not the only change in word form that has happened here. The other is belief. See, here the word believe is a verb. But here the word belief is a noun. So when you replace a verb with a noun, you need to bring another noun, another verb, okay? And that I have done by bringing in the verb held, okay? So that is why I have put down changed word form as a separate strategy, not just in the form of change of voice. If you understood that, well and good. If you did not, once again, I recommend come learn the grammar. It will help you. It will truly help you, guys. Learning paraphrasing, learning your grammar are the two most important things for your IELTS test. Right? I keep saying this time and again. For IELTS, paraphrasing is your best friend. Right? So the more you learn your paraphrasing, the better you'll do on the test itself. Now, I hope you understood the paraphrase that I've made here. Entertainers hold more importance than scientists is a belief held by a section of the society. So the word held is our added word here, right? Synonyms, of course, very obvious. Change word form, I have now explained. Change of voice, very obvious. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this lesson with me today, practicing these paraphrases. Try practicing them once more at home and see if you can make better paraphrases. And look, I do these special sessions on Unacademy Plus platform itself, where I recommend that you come join me for more of these sessions regularly, right? And then also consider, in fact, I say go ahead right away and subscribe to the Unacademy Plus platform so that you can attend my structured lessons and prepare better for the IELTS test, right? Please don't keep hoping for a miracle. Miracles happen in movies, of course, they happen in real lives as well. But for a miracle to happen in real life, you need to know a lot of things and you need to practice a lot. So, guys, I truly hope I'll see you on Unacademy. All right. Until then, keep practicing. Right. Keep practicing because practice always helps you do better. So, until the next time, keep practicing and remember, for IELTS, paraphrasing is your best friend. Goodbye.